Hi everybody, my name is Siobhan and I wear a lot of makeup. So let's get into talking about the talk of the town, which is the Patrick Ta Major Skin Soft Blur Brightening Concealer. She is hydrating, she is medium coverage, she is a satin finish. Okay. People are wanting to know what the coverage is like. I'm going to tell you that the coverage is medium like they said it is. Okay. I'm a dry skin baddie, okay? And with being a dry skin baddie, you have to make sure that you're doing things so that you're not becoming crease city. Now, my normal go-to, Hourglass. So much that I got to back up. I also have Pat McGrath, which is also very well loved. And I have Fenty Hydrating. If I had to compare formulas of stuff that I've tried, it would be Fenty. Now, with this concealer, I heavily suggest that you use a color corrector, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, we all in my business, right? I didn't put on no color corrector. I did that on purpose to show y'all. Now, that's all I'm going to use. We're not going to over apply this because I don't have no primer on. I don't got no skincare on. I don't got nothing on. So it's probably going to crease. You want to let this sit for a moment, okay? Let it sit, let it marinate, let it dry down a little bit. This gives decent coverage if you let it sit for a second. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes, minute and a half. It's been about 2 minutes. Okay, so let me clean this brush off a little bit. So I'm not out here giving faulty thoughts, right? Even though I believe this or the Fenty Hydrating is what I use with this brush last. All right, so we're just gonna dab, right? Again, my skin is dry right now and I don't have anything on underneath it, okay? So, as you can see, without any color corrector and after letting it sit, that's the coverage. Very hydrating. It is definitely a satin finish. I compare this finish-wise to the Fenty Hydrating. But as you can see, that's one layer, okay? Now, I feel like it'll look better if I am hydrated and all the things. I see a little darkness, but letting this concealer sit is the way to go. And also light tapping with this one. I can swipe a little bit more with my Hourglass. I cannot do this with this concealer, okay? So as you can see, compared to this side, this was a pretty decent blend. And again, I don't have anything on my face, but I keep seeing people ask about this compared to the Natasha Denona or even Hourglass. Hourglass is very, very matte. It's very drying. I do let this sit for about 30 seconds to a minute to give me some of that tack, but this was 2 minutes of me letting Patrick Ta sit. 2 whole minutes, okay? And as you can see, the coverage is there. I would still color correct just for safety precautions if I wanted this to be a little lighter under my eye, right? But the blend out on this is pretty decent. And that's just me getting closer. See the darkness there still? I would have to go back in one more time with a color corrector, or I'm not with a color corrector, with another round of concealer if I wanted to conceal this dark circle. Or I could just go in the beginning with my color corrector and then I let this sit less time. But as you can see in the light, you can still see some of that darkness. That's because this is hydrating, okay? It's medium buildable coverage. You're going to have to build the coverage up to where you want it. So if you have used the Fenty Hydrating Concealer, which is the only other one I really hydrating-wise have this compare this to, Pat McGrath is a satin finish as well. And I feel like this has more coverage than Pat. But compared to like my Hourglass, Hourglass definitely has more coverage. When I have Natasha, she has more coverage than this. However, this is way better for my under eye. If I was hydrated and primed better, this would be a phenomenal option. I wore this the other night for 8 hours. The wear test on it was great. If y'all want to see a full me using this in my makeup routine, I'll be more than happy to do so. If I had to compare it to a concealer, I would compare it to Fenty Hydrating. I just feel like this gives a little bit more coverage while this is a little bit more hydrating. So, do I compare this to Natasha Denona? No. I think Natasha and Hourglass are like neighbors on the same street. This is definitely a few blocks over.